want to watch.
How's it going, guys? Welcome to Fatberg. Today we're going to be looking at something, and before I get into this, I want to point out, be careful if you go Googling this shit. We're going to be looking at the Byford Dolphin Incident, and images of this are just kind of like free-floating on Google. When I looked this up, there was some pretty graphic shit that was just there and in my face. So, if you go looking up this after my shitty little fucking video to get some actual information on it, just be forewarned, you know. I don't know if Safe Search was on, but whatever. Again, today's video, we're going to be looking at the Byford Dolphin Incident. Byford Dolphin was a deep-sea drilling rig built in 1974. The rig was very advanced for its time and designed to operate at a depth of 1,500 feet. But sadly, it would suffer from multiple accidents throughout its operating period, including the infamous Byford Dolphin Incident. The incident in question was when a diving bell and decompression chamber rapidly decompressed with the crew still inside. On the 5th of November 1983, a total of 6 crewmen, 4 divers, and 2 dive tenders were finishing up their work. 2 divers were resting in a decompression chamber, while the other 4 were being winched up after a completed dive. 2 divers had exited the dive bell and entered into Chamber 1, which I'll put a diagram up of how all this was set up. Chamber 1 was separated from the other 2 divers resting, and reportedly a break-in procedure had occurred leading to the incident. The normal procedure would have been close the diving bell door, slightly increase the pressure in the diving bell to seal the bell door, close chamber 1, which was also, connected to the diving bell, or the trunk as they refer to it, slowly depressurize the trunk until it reached a pressure of 1 atmosphere, open the clamp to separate the diving bell from the chamber system. The first 2 steps were completed before one of the tenders made the mistake of opening the trunk without depressurizing it. This resulted, and this is a lot, I have trouble kind of breaking down the fucking mathematics, but you can look it up. This resulted in the decompression chambers rapidly decompressing from 9 atmospheres to 1, pretty much instantly. All 4 of the actual divers died pretty much instantly. One of the dive tenders was killed, and the other was severely injured. Some of the divers' blood literally boiled. Again, when you depressurize like that, it creates a lot of fucking heat, similar to the that fucking sub that blew up the other day. That's why this is making rounds again. But the other 2 divers that died in the incident, they were destroyed by the effects. Here's a word I hadn't heard before: gross dismemberment. That's not just referring to normal dismemberment being gross. This is a specific type. Gross dismemberment is when you are fucking destroyed. One of the divers was forced through a doorway that was partially, obstructed or closed, resulting in his body being shredded from the process. But another diver faced the highest pressure gradient of them all, meaning he got fucking... He got all of that fucking 9 atmosphere drop. He essentially exploded. His body fragmented, as they say, so he just fucking chunkified, and his internal organs were expelled with force. Some of his organs were found 30 feet away from where he detonated. The incident was investigated and attributed primarily to human error, being that they didn't follow the process, but also engineering flaws were found, being that proper fail-safes were not in place to stop that from kind of happening. So, we're going to take a brief look at the images here. And again, there's a lot more detail on this. They investigated this thoroughly, and there is a whole, report and autopsy, and it's all available online. And it's truly, truly fucking, you see, decompression and shit in movies. They don't get it right. It's not what it fucking looks like. Everything you've seen, it's pretty fucking bad. So, if you go through the autopsy report, which again is making rounds online because of the whole Ocean Gate thing, you will see the 2 divers that were resting, they seem to go pretty peacefully. You know, they were asleep and they boiled. I mean, I can't imagine that would be great feeling, but it's better than blowing up, maybe. Maybe, because apparently those guys just fucking went. You know, they probably didn't feel anything. Again, we have Diver 3, who just kind of dropped. And then we get to the gruesome stuff, which is, again, the shit that just popped up on Google. So, Diver 4, this was the guy who was forced through a doorway. And again, got turned to fucking beef jerky, dude. Now, these images aren't that bad, because again, it's a very professional, like, autopsy report. If you've seen, like, old medical photos and stuff, you can probably handle this. But it's still fucking rough to look at. It doesn't look real, almost. It looks like you're looking at, like, an old movie prop or something. But this shit happened. And then we get to the guy who blew up. And this is the worst one, in my opinion. Because, again, like, it doesn't even look like a human anymore at this point. It's just an exploded sort of cavity. And it's fucking bad. And they have images of what they found after the fact. His spine was ejected. These crazy hemorrhages formed on his body and on his organs. They have his stomach here, which again just fucking like inflamed from the force. It's truly like... Again, you've seen like decompression and shit in movies, like space movies and things like that. It's not it's not like that. Now we do know, like in the case of like Ocean Gate, like they were pressurized. You know, this is decompression, so it's like suction versus like crushing, I guess. The only benefit of this shit was probably fucking instant. Right, like, I believe the report was, like, 0.1 seconds, so again, like, not enough time to really process it. We do know in the case of, like, Ocean Gate that they probably... I mean, it's not that they felt anything that happened, but there was probably a good couple of seconds where they realized that the sub was about to fucking go. These guys, they were just doing their job and then gone, you know? So, at least there's that. Again, these images, they're pretty rough. It's not that bad, because again, it's all very professionally laid out and academic, I guess you could say. But I wouldn't recommend Googling any of that. I wouldn't recommend Googling this at all, because it's fucking unfiltered on Google search. That's kind of how I ended up doing this video, as I was looking into shit, and this just kind of popped up. There's a lot of people who do really good videos on the Byford Dolphin. I would recommend taking a look around YouTube to get more information on this. The whole point of Fatberg is more so to just kind of shine a light on things and give, I guess, direction on things to research. One of these days we'll do something significant and maybe give you guys some information to use. But that's the Byford Dolphin Incident. Thanks for watching.